Hello and welcome to the Luscious Living Podcast. I'm your host, Celine Vilgan, holistic nutrition consultant and the founder of Luscious Living, where personal growth meets wellness. Hello, and welcome back to another episode. Today, I want to speak with you about something that really hits home for me, of course, and I'll be going more into my personal journey with this. And I really am sharing with the desire to really help someone who is struggling with this. This is something that I prayed about years ago, saying, if I overcome this obsession that I have, let me help other women. And I prayed that I would one day be able to help other women with this topic that we're going to speak about today. And now it's really a dream come true in a way, okay? And this topic, of course, is weight loss. I was obsessed with losing weight. It was the biggest thing that was constantly on my mind. Like, how can I lose weight? It was just this ingrained pattern, this huge desire that I had, and everything revolved around it. Yet at the same time, for the past 20 odd years, all it is just 10 pounds, just losing 10 pounds. Whether I was 120 pounds or 140 or 180, I wanted to just lose 10 pounds. It's so funny. And so it really goes to show that the power of our thoughts, and our thoughts just become like little grooves and record players, and we just ended up repeating them over and over again, okay? And so I want to share with you a bit about my story in the hopes that it will help you as well. Maybe you have something completely different. Maybe you have something very similar. Either way, my intention is that this assists you and guides you on your journey as well, because I know how traumatic almost the journey is in a way. When you look outside, the world is like, here, do this workout challenge, and here, do this, diet plan. Just eat less, exercise more, do this kind of supplement, like whatever. And I've literally tried so many things. And it wasn't until I started to eat more and exercise less, going against the grain, of course, as usual, that I start to see results. Okay. And as I'm recording this, we're in 2020, during the pandemic, and a lot of memes and jokes going on about the quarantine 15. And I actually lost 10 or really released 10 pounds, okay, this year, which is pretty darn sweet in a way, because I really am feeling more like myself again. Okay, and so we're going to go into how, and it's not going to be painful. You don't have to give up your favorite foods, all of that, okay? So I want to actually kind of start in almost the middle of the journey, and that is when I was bulimic, okay? And that was actually, maybe some of you have heard this story before, but I had gone on summer vacation, and this is when my family had found out, never even had a conversation about it. My sister would make puking noises around me I know she hated the fact that that's what I was doing, but she also didn't know how to address it, but still it sucked for me as well. And nothing about her now. Of course, I just say that because that's just what was happening. And so I remember I got back to school and everyone was complimenting me. Oh my God, Celine, you look amazing. You lost weight. And I was like, I was never overweight at that point anyway. It was just like I had really gone underweight. And so, I remember just how many compliments I got. And I was like, wow, cool. Okay, I am dying literally, physically, mentally, spiritually. And I've never been more complimented and complicated in my entire life. Okay. And so that really started to help me to see there's something wrong with the picture, and who else do I know? Who else do I see that is going through this? And they just look to be very happy and good and whatever, and we just don't even think about it. And the same thing happened with my mom after my dad passed, and they were in a loving, beautiful relationship together. And after he passed, she was a bag of bones. She was drinking a bottle of wine a night, smoking a pack of cigarettes every second day. It was not good. Not good. Okay, very difficult time in my life. And this is right after 6 months after my dad passed. My mom had a brain surgery as well. A very difficult time. So obviously I say this because she was not healthy. Okay, mentally, spiritually, physically, not healthy. But when we went to summer vacation, people were complimenting her left, right, and center. Oh my God, you look so good. What are you doing? What's your secret? What are you eating? And I remember standing there looking at people like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, she's dying and you're complimenting her. So the same thing with me is I was at my worst physical, mental, spiritual state, yet I was being complimented the most because I was very, very slim. Okay, same with my mom. So really, really messed up picture there, okay, for lack of better words. So that was the first kind of part of it. And it just makes, and I share that because we really ought to be more conscious of, again, this is why I also talk about what health is, right? We talk about the cycle, we talk about elimination, we talk about skin health. Health does not necessarily mean a certain body weight. And that being said, until, we get an excess of a body weight, that's also a symptom of, high inflammation, high insulin, typically high testosterone in some cases, high estrogen in some cases. So that's not discrediting that at all. And actually, I think it's a little interesting with the body positivity movement. I love it. And we need to also look at some health markers, right? Anyway, maybe you disagree with me on that, and that's okay. All right. So fast forward to when I moved to Vancouver. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was at also a rock bottom there. I was crying every day, crying myself to sleep. I was binge eating. I would secretly buy, whether it was bags of rice or potatoes, bread, and just consume it, like a bag of it. Okay. And I very quickly gained 40 pounds, or maybe even a little bit more. And of course, I hated how I looked. I didn't fit into anything. So I didn't really wear anything that I know I didn't wear anything I liked. I stopped taking care of myself in that way. But to be honest, I was still eating healthy other than that. Like, I've never been someone who just wants to eat like Cheetos all day long. But still, either way, that was still unhealthy what I was doing. And I was still going, for runs. I was still exercising. So that wasn't the problem. Eating healthy. And, when people say it's all about nutrition for weight loss, it's like, well, what about nutrition when you're eating almond butter from the spoon, right? That's nutritious, but, like there's something else going on there, right? So anyway, and then I would completely avoid seeing anyone when I would come back to Calgary, because I was like, oh my God, everyone's going to think Celine lost herself. Celine let herself go. And I kind of had. Not in a way, like I was still working. I was still, like I said, exercising. But man, I had nothing that brought me joy. I was in a relationship that sucked. I was living in a basement suite in a rainy city. Like, there is so many things wrong about the picture for me. And yeah, so that really only added to my emotional eating, to the binging, right? And so that was something that was just very difficult. And then, so of course, what do we do in that instance? Googling like the best weight loss plans and the supplements and the workouts. And so I was doing high intensity workouts. I've done the Banana Island where you only eat bananas. I've done enemas. I've done the Master Cleanse. I've done raw vegan. I would go to intuitive readers, be like, what the heck is wrong with me? And so I really thought there was something major wrong. Okay, I was like, why can't I get this? Why am I doing this? Like, this daily binge eating was horrible. And it was just like, I felt like a drug addict, really, to be honest. And so what I didn't realize now that I look back is that I was miserable, and that being miserable was leading me to doing to binge eating. Okay. And it's just, and if you do have to look at it as if you are a drug addict in a way, right? Because food is the most socially acceptable form of drug. It numbs you out, makes you feel better, but then it's still the same cycle of pain and regret and guilt, right? And so I needed to start putting my focus elsewhere into creating a life I loved. Okay. And so it was a really slow process. And you know what, to be honest, it's an ongoing process. Okay. And so I remember I had moved, I started to take yoga classes, still depressed though. Okay. I was going for hikes by myself, would still cry often, still felt this heaviness, didn't know what it was. And I started to join leadership programs. I started to get into dance, which I never thought I would ever do in my adult life because I hated it growing up. And so I started to continue that. And then you know what? It was honestly to a point where I said, I need to do something bigger. I need to create a bigger shift. And this is of course years later. I feel like when I listen to podcasts or read books, I'm like, how did you just go from A to B like so fast? Well, there's a lot of time that goes in the meantime when and so I just want to share that. It's a day by day process. And so I made the decision to pack my bags out of Vancouver to go to Italy finally, because that was my dream location ever, move back to Calgary, enroll in nutrition school. Okay. And so I did that. I went to Italy by myself, and I can't even tell you how many times I had people being like, are you here by yourself? Wow. I'm like, wait, why is that? Wow. Like, why? Anyway, so I recommend taking a solo trip to a foreign country for sure. And so anyway, and when I was there, I just feel like there's energy codes in different countries. We're attracted to different countries for a reason. And Italy was pleasure, right? Like it was just beautiful. The walls were beautiful there. I was in the Tuscany area and I'm like, oh my God, no wonder people are painters and poets and have so much passion, because I wanted to do these, artistic things when I was there, because you can't not almost. It's like the energy just pulls you to it. And the food and just, yeah, the people being so passionate there. Of course, it was, the monuments. It was incredible. And I can't wait to go back. It was just one of those countries you're just like, okay, now I get why everyone talks about this place. Right? And so that was a key experience that I needed to experience, is not only Italy, but just doing something so abrupt for myself. Is, you know what? Why do I keep acting like I have all the time in the world to just do things? Right? And so that helped. And I did that, and I came back and I enrolled in school. And so I actually wanted to get sound nutrition advice. That changed everything for me, because solid nutrition is unsexy. And this is the way that I coach my clients too. There's no like, do this keto or intermittent fasting or whatever. It's like, yes, you're going to maybe have different nutritional requirements or very small segments of time where you do a specific protocol. But after that, it's like, live your life, because when it's so food focused about what I can eat, what I can't eat, then we start to become obsessive about it. Okay. And so then I hired a nutritionist. That was really, really game changing for me, because I thought I was doing some things right. And she really helped me to get that straight and really increase protein intake too, and just fill in gaps that I otherwise didn't know. And this is why I'm such a proponent of what I do. And I'm like, you know what? I have no, people say the shameless self-promotion. I'm like, why shame or shameless? I'm like, no, go invest in your health. Like, book a call with me. I'm serious, go figure out what the gaps are. Go figure out what you need, because, I don't do my nails myself or my hair myself, because I'm not the professional there. Right. And there's so much information. There's so many YouTube videos and blogs that I could look at. Like, I just go straight to the source. Just don't waste my time. Invest and get the best quality of work. Okay. So there's my, my pull in for you. Okay. And then I've hired 3 personal trainers. I will definitely hire a trainer again. That was huge. I honestly think movement and weightlifting, for me specifically, because I didn't move before I started running and stuff like that, that was the biggest confidence boost for me, and still is. I'm like, wow, the human body looks so good when there's muscle. And when having a trainer will help you with technique and strength, it's amazing. Honestly, to this day, a personal trainer is one of the best investments I have ever made in my life. So go find one online or in your city, okay? And then, of course, a big thing for me was focusing on more movement rather than exercise. Like, yes, I had my weight training. I've done yoga for the past 10 years plus. And so this is really important. And so actually during quarantine, I released 10 pounds. Okay? 10 pounds and the gyms were closed. Everywhere is closed. So what I started to do is slow down. This is a big thing, especially when we're emotional eating. It's very fast, right? You just want to stuff your face, okay? So I want you to slow down. Okay, that's a big thing. This is always something I'm working on myself. Eating enough for breakfast, whatever your first meal timing is, eat enough, right? Because before I would not eat enough because I was like, am I eating too much? And then snack again. And then next thing you know, it's like 300 calories in between meals. And that adds up, okay? So eat enough so you don't have to snack as much. And maybe if you need a snack, just go for a bunch of carrots and vegetables and, and all that. Because I would usually go for nuts and even having a handful. It's very nutrient dense. It's also calorie dense. If you're looking to release, I'd eat less nuts and go for more vegetables, cucumbers, bell peppers, carrots, right? And then actually eating more carbohydrates during the luteal and menstrual phase. This is a big one because I find that we get a little scared of our appetite around that time. And so your body naturally needs more calories and it needs more complex carbohydrates to balance those cravings. So eat more complex carbohydrates, sweet potatoes, amaranth, quinoa, couscous, whatever it is. And actually broccoli and carrots, those are all complex carbohydrates as well. Okay. And actually in my upcoming book, I speak all about what to eat during each phase of the cycle. You don't have to be exact with it. I am not, but it really gives you a good idea on how to be a little bit more in tune with it, especially if you have any hormone imbalance, okay? And I'll actually link in the description for you on getting the book, actually, as well, or at least being on the wait list as of this episode. Okay, excuse me. Big one is managing emotions. This is huge because at the end of the day, it's all stress eating. It's binge eating is coming from the emotions. So when you start to build the resilience, you will start to need food less as a coping mechanism. So I recommend having some space in your day to just be. Okay, maybe you have your legs up the wall, maybe you do some yoga. Honestly, just not even doing any necessarily physical, but just meditating, breath work, journaling, going for long walks by yourself, no podcast, no technology. Time for you. Especially during quarantine, I would just sit on the bed in the middle of the day and breathe. I'm like, okay, this is real. Yep, this is happening. And I needed extra space to process. Especially if you have kids, you need that extra time to just think or be or exist. Okay, and please make this a priority. I don't have kids yet, so I don't actually know what that's like, but I know that if you're kind of the person who's listening to this, I know you can get the support you need for 5, 10, half an hour, minutes of time for you, okay? And then I just want to say this again, but really gentle exercise. I thought that I had to do high intensity stuff to really be able to lose weight, but no, for me, lots of long walks, Pilates, bike rides, yoga, because the thing is, the cortisol adds to your belly fat. Cortisol also makes you want to eat more. Cortisol actually raises your blood sugar. And those really high intensity workouts too, or just high intensity days, are going to make you want to eat more or turn on your stress response. Okay? Especially all of my weight loss clients or whether it's PCOS or just any sort of hormone imbalance, have really high intensity workouts. Like do it once in a while, but not all month long, especially towards your luteal and menstrual phase. Okay, so think about gentle exercise. Think about slowing down. Think about really creating a calm, safe environment, because it's a lot of the time when we don't feel safe, when we don't feel good, when we feel stressed out is when we do those binges. Okay? So I really trust this was helpful for you, because this is something that I had, like I told you, really struggled with. Okay? This is something that is really near and dear to my heart, especially everywhere you look. It's always about some formulated plan, and then what do? You go on the plan, and then what happens after, right? And this is why I don't do meal plans for my clients per se. They're just guides and ideas for nutrients, okay? And actually, speaking of that, really, really important notes to make in terms of balancing blood sugar and helping to release weight is having enough protein. Have protein with every single meal. This could be fish, chicken, eggs, spirulina, tempeh, tofu, rice and beans together. Have it at every single meal. It will have you having less of a blood sugar roller coaster. Make sure you have lots of herbal teas as well, whether it's green tea or nettle tea. If you have, like alfalfa and oat straw, get to know the herbal world. Okay, there's something for everyone, and it fills you with nutrients, and it just makes you not think about food during the day as well. Okay? And, at the end of the day, I don't want you to limit yourself from some of the foods that you enjoy. There are some food for me that I still don't have around, because I just know that if it's going to be at home, like ice cream, for example, I'm going to eat the whole little, like the Ben and Jerry's. It's just one of those trigger foods for me. And so I will go out and get ice cream, and that's fine. But identify those trigger foods for you too, and just that way you can actually have more control over, because a lot of that food is also designed for you to eat more of it. So, who has ever had 2 Doritos? No, it's designed, the way that it's designed is to make you eat more, okay? And so the more whole foods you eat, the more you're going to fill up faster, the more you're going to actually just feel satiated, okay? So that's another big thing, is to keep your plate with tons of vegetables. You can't go wrong with it. No matter if you're vegan or omnivorous, have lots of vegetables with whatever you eat, okay? And actually two other things here, is finding ways to create a life you love, right? So whether it's dancing or whether it's archery, if it's painting, the more we create this life we love, the more we don't go to those binging cycles. And that actually includes saying no to subpar men as well, if you're dating out there. Okay, so that's huge, is really owning your value, owning your worth. It's like, if something doesn't feel right, if something is not within your standards, say no. Right? Because then that almost in a different way leads to more binging or just feeling horrible about ourselves, right? Your spirit, your soul knows its true authenticity and knows when you're being inauthentic to yourself. Okay, so ask yourself where you need to get honest. Again, it might be even a different area of life that is making you binging, whether it's you're stressed about finances, you hate your job, or a relationship. Get very honest with yourself and make appropriate changes. Because again, the eating and the food and the binging is only a symptom. It's not the thing to be fixed. Okay? So I hope this was helpful to you. I really actually enjoyed creating this because, again, something very important, something I prayed about, as I said, to be able to help other women when I overcame binge eating and just this whole weight loss journey thing. Okay? And so at the end of the day, too, having a healthy body weight, looking at the signs of health in terms of glowing skin, strong hair and nails, daily elimination, painless periods, okay? These things are so important. So, and not just so important, that's what health is. Like, that's health. That's not a size 0 necessarily or a size 14. It's just like, get the markers of health. And I speak all about that in my book. So I want you to click the link in the description to sign up for the wait list. We're going to have a ton of bonuses and exciting virtual parties with it. I also invite you to click the link to book a connection call together. Let's chat. What are you dealing with? How can I help? Okay. So thanks for tuning in. Please share this with a friend as well. And I will see you next week. Enjoy.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Please give the show a 5-star review if you feel like you learned something new today. All of the mentioned links will be in the show notes. And also, are we connected on Instagram? Find me over at _lusciousliving_ and come say hi. See you next episode.